What is up? Welcome back to my channel. It's a wrap, aka Yudi here. And today, my video is a little bit different. This is my first time doing a tag. I wasn't tagged. I saw the tag on, my name is Marines. I saw on her channel. I love her channel. I followed her for a minute. She's one of the channels that I followed before I decided I wanted to be a booktuber. And then she co-collabed with Thoughts on Thomas on their channel as well. And they co-collabed and created this get to know my taste tag. Consider this, I guess, my newbie tag, so you can get an idea of what exactly I enjoy to read. And if you feel like our taste align, give me a follow. Still going over allergies, so I still sound a little bit crappy, so I'm not gonna like try to talk too much because I feel like my voice isn't the most pleasant right now. All right, the first tag I have, or the first question, sorry, I have is, how do you rate books? Give a quick rundown of how you do your star rating, or if you don't use star ratings, how you evaluate books. First of all, I do 1 through 5 stars, and yes, I do use the half stars. I sometimes feel hesitant on like using the 1 through 5 star reviews when, especially on my wrap-ups. I did at one point because I mostly 99% of the books that I read are by Black authors, and sometimes they fall into the indie category. It's kind of hard for me to like give a star rating because one, it could be a 3 or a 2 for me, but it could be an excellent read, or it could feed into something that somebody is looking for like someone who's watching the channel. So I'd rather in my critique just try to frame it as what didn't work for me and it might work for you, versus like this is like a not so great read, or like this is what I recommend, this is what I wouldn't recommend, because I think all the books that I finish in some way I would recommend. It's just a question of what exactly you're looking for, and does this book that I'm speaking about give, you know, the things that you're looking for at whatever moment you're looking for it. So after that long spiel, I have never given a book a 1 because at that point I'm just not finishing the book. But 1 is like, girl, I wouldn't give this to my worst enemy. This is terrible. This is not good. There are maybe some themes in it that are like I deeply disagree with, and it's not even explored in a way that's thought-provoking. If anything is problematic, you send the universe back when you decide to put these words on the paper. Okay, and then a two, sometimes I can have a good time with a 2. Like 2, it might be a good time. It's just chaos. It's probably problematic as well, but maybe in a way that was like endurable and I could finish it. But either way, I guess if you want some chaos, maybe I'll recommend it to you. But for me, a 3 is like, it's average. Like, I'll probably forget that I read it. It doesn't leave an impression on me. Like, it's just like a run-of-the-mill read for me. After maybe like next month, and you've read like 2 or 3 more books, at the end of the year, when you have to recall the books you read, you'll be like, oh, I forgot I read that book. A 4 is like, oh yeah, this was a solid-ass book. But the thing that's keeping it from a 5, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably the ending. Or it was a good read, but it's not gonna sit with me for the rest of my life. It's not gonna be the one book that I read this year that I keep thinking about in other books and giving words to something that I've experienced in life that I just never thought I could find the words for. And somehow this author did that. Like, it's genius on page. Like, 4 is a solid ass read. I would recommend it. You'll have a good time. It's just not exceptional. It's just not like it's on my forever. Like, if you need a quick rundown on books that you must read, it's not hitting that list. I might forget it, but it still was a really good read. That's a 4 for me. And then a 5, I kind of touched on what I rate a 5. A 5 is like, it stuck with me. It's going to stick with me. Like, I need it on my shelf. I'll recommend it to anybody. Or the story is so like riveting that like these characters stay with me forever. Like, a 5 is like there's only so many 5s, okay? And that's my rating score, to cut my long answer short. 2 is, how do you approach reviewing books? What's your review style? Are you analytical, emotional, casual, or structured? I think this kind of touches on me going through like my back and forth with my rating system, because I mostly read Black authors who already like in the publishing industry. A lot of the times there's a select few that get the real push from their publishers in terms of like media and press coverage, and you know, a lot of really good Black authors get lost simply because of just not having the same push as other authors. So I try, even if I critique a book, to one, critique with care, and then two, be very conscious of like, if I'm critiquing, like what exactly am I critiquing, and hopefully this is how I'm hoping it's coming across, that what may not have worked for me is not like detrimental to like, this is absolutely not a good read. Just again, this may not be something that works for you, or this plot point, this part that kind of took me away from the book, or you know, my critique is not necessarily that it is not a good book, but this is something that may keep you from loving the book. And maybe people want to know, like, everybody has their own personal taste when it comes to reading, and when I read reviews or critiques, I do want to know, like, hey, I had some trouble processing this, or maybe this didn't sit well with me, and maybe that won't sit well with me, and maybe because of that, this may not be the book for me, or because of that, this may be exactly what somebody's looking for in a book, and you know, you're glad you pointed out, because this may not work for you, but it absolutely works for me. So I wouldn't say it's emotional. I would say that my style is casual. I've been trying to work on a better review structure. I do want to like really break down, you know, themes and motifs, but also in my review, I don't want to give too much away. Like I want to just give enough for someone to decide that I want to read and learn more. But sometimes I do, especially if I love a book, I want to geek out on like what made the book so good. When I look back at my other like book reviews, my older ones are just single books, I feel like they're kind of all over the place, and I would just love a more structured and like concise review that touches on all the points that I want to touch on. So it's on my back end side of just getting better at like, I guess, scripting and pre-planning what exactly I'm going to touch on in the books and getting my quotes and all that together, which is just, I guess, a skill that I'm slowly learning as I make more videos. So yeah. Okay, 3. What's the book that made you a reader? Whether it was your first favorite or the one that got you hooked, what book started it all? I wish I had my first book that I like hung on to with like all my might, but I think I've always been a reader. My mom used to take us to the library like all the time. Growing up, I was really big on Junie B. Jones. If y'all remember Junie B. Jones, I'll probably pop up a picture. I'm gonna put my hand up. I used to read that series like crazy. I remember, I think they still do like the plays. Like you can see Junie B. Jones live action. So I used to love Junie B. Jones. Series of Unfortunate Events. That was really popular when I was younger, and I used to read that too. But the book that I always think of that like always stuck with me, and I was just like, this is the first time that like I had a book that was like, this is my book. I have to look if this book has any controversies, because I haven't touched this book since it came out. It probably came out like 2000, 2001. I hadn't gone through what the character had gone through, but like, I think it was the first book that I felt the most empathy for a story, and it just stuck with me. And that is Olive's Ocean. I think his name is Chris Hanks. I don't have the book, so I'll just correct myself, but I'll have the picture here. Can't remember the character's name, but like it's summer break, and she has learned that like this person in her class that she wasn't really friends with, but she knew has passed away, and she's quite young. So this is like her first time like dealing with like loss and grieving and like losing someone so young, and she's kind of processing this. And I don't know, it just felt so like, as a young person reading it, and the way that like the author, I just kind of resonated with like the way that he's writing like he was writing to this younger audience about really, I think for me it felt like a big topic, like losing someone, and I just kind of appreciated that I didn't feel like I was being handled like with gloves. Like it went there, it touched on it. The only way I can think of is agency. Like it gave the reader agency, that this young reader was able to navigate and empathize and go through these feelings with this character. And I don't know, that's just that way of, I think it was the way of storytelling to the audience that it was speaking to at my age. I just never read a story that was written for me at my age at the time that so adult. It felt like it was giving me the agency to do or empathize with these big feelings, and it just always stuck with me, which is why I always held so close to that book. It was just like, man, I can't believe like this author wrote this book about such big feelings in this most, I feel like, non-candid way, which is why it always stuck with me. So that is like my first book that like every time I think about the first book that like really had an impression on me and it stuck with me, I always think of Olive's Ocean by that author. 4. Do you have a genre niche? Are there certain genres you gravitate towards, or do you read widely across genres? I would say I mostly read literary fiction. On my channel, I mainly read Black authors. I'll read some nonfiction, like some essays. And usually if I read essays, the essays I've reviewed, the nonfiction I've reviewed on here is definitely more like cultural and social. I'll do some memoirs, but mostly, for the most part, I'm reading Black literary fiction. Okay. Do you generally prefer character-driven or plot-driven stories? Character-driven. I mean, if I love the day-to-day mundane, I love some good character, and like nothing can happen in the book, but if it's mostly the inner character doing all this big, heavy emotional lifting and work, like I think it's a gift to articulate the thoughts and feelings that run through people's minds, and also just like the dynamics of interacting with people. You know, so I don't need, which is probably why I'm not a big like action adventure. I love a good character-driven story. I love to see a character. I'm currently reading a book now, which you guys, I'm just gonna say Jamaica Road, which is an arc that I got, and it's definitely very. I mean, granted, there is some plot in it, but I think it's mainly character-driven, and there's something about a storyline, especially. I love a good storyline that's like a timeline, like we start in the present and then we work our way from the past to the present, like what exactly happened, that the character is here now. I love a good like character transformation in terms of like growing and life happening, and yeah. Anyway, all I have to say that I'm a character-driven girly. The next one. What books you love so much that you don't care if others don't like it? What's the one book you love enough for everyone? Oh, that's a good one. Okay, this is a book that people don't talk about a lot, but I love bringing it up, and I don't care if no one ever talks about it, you know? It's an Amazon like indie book release that I don't even know how I found the book, but I had such a fun time with this, and I rarely see people talk about the book. It's by Kendra Daniel, and it's called Bear With Me. It's a romance. It's about this like doctor who's doing his residency, who's uptight, whose aunt sends him to this nude resort that a teacher who's like saved up her paycheck to finally go on vacation meets him at, and it's a fake dating trope, and which usually first of all, I don't really care for romance like that, and then 2, if I'm reading a romance, I don't know if fake dating is one of my favorites, but it was such a fun read. It was such a fun, quick, light romance that like I had such a good time with, and I love that book. I'm always gonna recommend it if you want like just a light, fun, romantic read. And I don't care if people don't even like it or they're just all like, girl, the book is not that good. I loved it. if I want a romance, that's the kind of romance I want, and I'm always going to recommend it. Okay, what's a book you love so much and if someone doesn't like it, you know your reading tastes don't align? The book are books where a difference of opinion is a strong indicator of different reading preferences. For me, this is just the author that I go hard for. Kaliba Zuma Nelson, his debut, Open Water. How can you not love? It's very flowery. I'm not gonna lie. Kaliba Zuma Nelson is very flowery. Again, I think speaks to writing for the mundane, but in the day-to-day. But baby, the way that he writes about falling in and out of love. Granted, I get some people's critique because there's a whole nother plot line about police brutality, and some people didn't enjoy that. But the writing is so like flowery and poetic, and I eat it up. Sometimes I just open the book and reread a quote because it's so. And then Small World, I read that, and you know, I think the character is like, it's from the character from I think 17 or 18 to like I think it's mid-20s. If it's not mid-20s, it's like until he's 30. And just coming out of that age in my life, and the things that he navigates are the many things that like in my own personal life that I have navigated and navigating. Again, so poetic and like therapeutic to read an experience that you're going through in the most poetic and understanding way. Like, yes, that's how I felt. You know, losing a parent, aging parents, navigating adulthood and trying to figure out, you know, career and work and love and just so much in such a short read. It's so good. It packs a punch. And I'm not gonna lie, when people tell me that they don't really enjoy his work or they think it's too flowery, I'm just like, maybe we're not the same kind of reader. That's how much I love the work. I'm just all like, if you love his work like I love his work, we gonna be best friends. What's in your trash pocket? What books, tropes, or themes that you know are bad, but you love them anyway? I do love, like, in the urban fiction realm, which I don't think is as prominent as it used to be, but because it's always a mess. It's always mess. It's mess. It's the mess that I enjoy. It's the messiness of it all. The quote unquote in the street bad boy that you shouldn't mess with, and the very like aloof, naive, not hip girl, and they meet and they decide we're gonna do this, we're gonna be together, and then all the mess that ensues from that choice. Because honestly, every time I read it, I'm just like, girl, leave this man alone. But she doesn't. She decides I'm going to be with this man and I'm going to ride or die. And I'm always there to read it. Even though sometimes, I think now that I'm older, a lot of the times I notice that in that storyline, the man tends to be older. The girl tends to be a girl. She tends to be younger. And the age gap in that, it kind of gives me ick. But let it be, you know, she doesn't even have to be naive to his world. So maybe baby girl is like, she a lawyer, or I don't know, something that's completely just not in the realm that this man is in. She's a doctor, she's a therapist, some just professional outside. Maybe she comes from money, you know, she's just aloof and not in this world. And then they meet, and then she's absorbed in his world, the underworld or street life or whatever. It's the naiveness of it all. It's just and also me reading it the whole time was like, this is a mess. You should have never even partook, but still reading it anyway. It's mainly for the mess. There's a lot of books that I read that I'm just all like, girl, you shouldn't even do this. But it's the spiral of it all that I'm invested in. Okay. Do you have any deal breakers in books? Something that if present immediately turns you off from a book? I just said it. Age gaps I can't do it like I used to. I can't. Like if there's an age gap and there's this thing about like masculinity and the man like being possessive and needing to have her by all means necessary, that in the age gap reads for me as like controlling in like an abusive way that it gives me ick. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to stop reading it. I can't do it like I used to. Like the whole I need you or you're at my everything. It reads abusive to me. Like you're trying to exude control on someone. That it doesn't make me feel like, oh yes, he wants me so much. And I can't read like the whole I love you so much I lose myself. And especially if there's like an age gap. I can't do it. I have to put the book down. It just gives me ick. Gosh, what's another thing that gives me ick these days? I feel like I'm so much more like sensitive, especially reading romance these days. I'm so much more sensitive to things, and I'm just all like, this doesn't seem like love. This seems like lust, control, dominance. I can't do it. I check out. Yeah, I can't lose myself in the fantasy. It doesn't feel like a fantasy. It feels like patriarchy. Okay. What's a strong opinion you have about a book released within the last year? Whether it's overrated, underrated, or just a take you need to share. I'm afraid to say this take out loud. Woo, this is a hot take. I'm gonna say it, y'all. I never reviewed this on my channel, but I read Demon's Dream and I couldn't do it. I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. And very strongly couldn't do it. And I was just all like, hold up, am I reading the right book? Am I reading the book that everybody else is talking about? I might download the wrong book. I couldn't do it. I'm not even going to elaborate because I know that's another one that's near and dear to people's heart. 11. What do you look for in writing? What makes a book stand out to you? Is it prose styles, themes, voice, structure, or something else? I love some good storytelling, especially when you're articulating the mundane. I love some flowery, poetic prose. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I love a little quote that can stick with me and get me through life. I do love it. I mean, themes that I feel like tend to be in books that I enjoy. Themes about coming of age and womanhood, and I do love a good multi-generational family drama. How do you decide what to read next? Do you plan ahead, mood read, or follow external factors? Baby, I've tried to do TBRs, and it's the only one I can keep up with is my February one for Black History Month. But for the most part, I'm a mood reader. And I need to stop giving TBRs or books I'm going to read before the end, because at the end of the day, I read whatever I feel. Honestly, at the beginning, once I have set what exactly I need to read, like for a book club or if I'm doing a buddy read or something like that, okay, I'm 100% going to read that. Like that's done. But for my own personal interest, usually we'll read like a couple pages. Like I'll pick up a couple books that I'm like, I'm kind of feeling this month. I'll read through a couple pages, and honestly how it works is the one that's like capturing me the most is the one that I speed through and finish, and then the ones that like it goes from there. Like I'll go to the next one that kind of had my attention, finish that, and then the last book is the book that I'm probably feeling the least, and I'm just struggling to get through, to try to get, because my goal this year is 5 books to a month to try to get through. I'm deeply a mood reader. Deeply a mood reader. And also, I guess hype does play a part in it. If I'm excited for an arc, I've really tried, because I'm such a mood reader, I've really stepped back. I'm this is probably, last year I didn't read a lot of arcs. This year I have quite a bit of arcs to read. If I get an arc, I have to really like, oh yes, I'm really interested in reading this book. And usually now when I get the arc, I immediately start reading. I want to read it. I'm going to read it now. So that's how I'm going about arcs now, versus feeling like I have to keep up with the Joneses and pick up like popular arcs and read them just to get them on my channel. Where do you get inspiration for your BookTube content? What sparks your video ideas? Other creators, trends, personal reading experiences? Again, because I'm a mood reader, I've struggled with videos. I do, because I'm a mood reader, and it's hard to be all like, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do this specific video reading these specific books, but sometimes I'm just not in the mood to read 5 books for a vlog. I gotta work it out, because there's so many video ideas. I have like you can't see my dry erase board. I have a dry erase board of like a month, and like a video idea that I really want to get out that month. There's not much more I can say about this question. If you could make any book go viral right now, what would it be? A book you think deserves more attention, and why? Hopefully they get a lot of attention once they drop. I'm gonna put Tochi Eze's This Kind of Trouble. Thoroughly enjoyed that arc. Excited about the rollout and, you know, the press run in August when it releases. And then I believe this is it has to be UK author, but Lisa Smith, Jamaica Road. I was up like all night reading that book. It was so good. It's so like yum 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 delicioso. Ate it up. Jamaica Road, and it's like it's a coming of age. It's best friends who ultimately become lovers. It's in the backdrop of like Brixton or South London, and like police brutality and immigration and all those themes that are wrapped up in blackness and in anti-blackness, and it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So we'll see the attention it gets once it releases. I don't have the book in front of me, so I can't remember what the release date is. I think it's July. I might be wrong. But either way, 2 books that I'm excited and hope get a lot of hype because I just really enjoyed them, and I feel like they're buzzworthy reads this year that really like had an impression on me. And then 15, who are some booktubers with reading tastes similar to yours? Okay, let me get this one right. I always want to do a video where I shout out my favorite booktubers. But one, I'm going to shout out Library Without Borders. I feel like books that she tends to enjoy are books that I have enjoyed, or when she gives the description, I'm like, ooh, that sounds like I'll enjoy that. Chocolate Covered Pages. Her book recommendations are always A1. Look, I can't tell you how many videos I've left and been like, let me go buy this book. Shelby and the book club. I love her literary fiction picks, and I think she highlights a lot of ones that don't tend to get a lot of shine. I usually am inclined, especially her literary fiction picks, to pick up. I'll probably link like there's 2 more probably on the top of my head. I just can't, my mind's blank right now, so I'll probably link them down below. But those are definitely the top 3 that I'm just like 9 times out of 10 I'm picking up a book they recommend. But that was the last question. This is gonna be fun to edit because I was coughing and fighting for my life through it. But if you feel like we do have similar tastes from what you got from everything that I said, give your girl a follow. Give your girl a follow and it's spring. Leave a cherry blossom. Leave a cherry blossom, because it's the cherry blossoms that are kicking my behind right now. Leave a cherry blossom in the comments if you made it to the end of this video. And until the next time, y'all, deuces.